We invite animals into our lives, into our homes, sometimes even into our hearts. But what happens when the very pets we cherish turn on us? We bring you 6 chilling true stories of pets that went from companion to killer in the blink of an eye. These aren't tales of wild animals in the jungle. These are trusted creatures, kept in bedrooms, backyards, and living rooms, who suddenly unleashed the predator within. Can we ever predict when an ordinary animal might act on its most primal instincts? Let's find out. Number 6, the pit bull incident. Scarface strikes. Pit bulls often spark debate. Some see them as loyal companions, others as unpredictable and dangerous. In the case of one dog named Scarface, the latter proved tragically true. Scarface had been rescued by Brenda and Ishmael Guerrero, a couple who were determined to give him a second chance at life. They brought him into their home in Tampa, Florida, and began the process of helping him adjust. But one day, a simple act turned into a nightmare. Brenda tried to put a sweater on Scarface, something many pet owners do, especially in colder months. But the dog violently resisted, suddenly launching a brutal attack on her. In an instant, Scarface went from house pet to dangerous aggressor, biting Brenda repeatedly in a fit of rage. Ishmael rushed in to pull the dog off his wife, but couldn't overpower him. Their son, Antoine Harris, grabbed a kitchen knife and stabbed Scarface in the head in an attempt to stop the attack. Still, the dog continued to fight back, undeterred. When police officers arrived at the scene, they were met with an equally intense struggle. Scarface remained highly aggressive, even managing to shake off the effects of a taser, yanking out the prongs and continuing to resist arrest, so to speak. Tampa police officer Eddie Durkin described the dog as pretty aggressive, and even trained officers had a hard time gaining control. It wasn't until animal control arrived, armed with a tranquilizer gun, beanbag rounds, and a catch pole, that they were finally able to subdue Scarface. Using the loop of the catch pole around the dog's neck, they were able to restrain and remove him safely from the home. Brenda was transported to Tampa General Hospital with severe arm injuries, but she was listed in stable condition after the attack. As for Scarface's fate, no official update was given at the time. What began as a routine, loving gesture, a sweater for a pet, ended in a shocking and violent confrontation. It was a chilling reminder that even the animals we rescue sometimes carry deeper scars than we know. Number 5, the Burmese python catastrophe. When a pet became a killer. Exotic pets can seem fascinating until the danger becomes all too real. In 2009, a tragic case from Florida made headlines when a couple's pet, albino Burmese python, caused the death of their 2-year-old daughter. Jaron Hare and Charles Darnell kept the 8-foot-long python in a makeshift enclosure, a glass aquarium covered with a quilt and held together with safety pins. Despite its strength and size, they didn't have a proper locking mechanism or a state permit, which is required by Florida law for such animals. That night, the snake escaped. Darnell claimed he saw it in the hallway and returned it to the enclosure, but the setup failed again. The python slithered into the child's room, and by morning, Darnell discovered it wrapped around her lifeless body. In a panic, he stabbed the snake in an attempt to free her, but it was already too late. The couple told authorities the snake had escaped at least 10 times in 2 months, and they were planning to secure the tank better. The snake hadn't been fed in a while, but Darnell insisted it wasn't trying to eat the child. Officials removed the python and took it to a U.S. Air Force base for training exercises. An investigation revealed the couple's negligence and lack of proper care, along with reports of substance abuse. Both Hare and Darnell were sentenced to 12 years in prison for manslaughter and child neglect. This case stands as a grim reminder that exotic pets aren't just a novelty, They're a serious responsibility. One oversight, one moment of carelessness, and the consequences can be devastating. Number 4. Deadly bear attack. Timothy Treadwell was widely known for his deep connection to grizzly bears. His passion led him to spend 13 summers living among them in Alaska's Katmai National Park. But in 2003, his commitment to understanding these powerful animals ended in a tragic and fatal encounter. In the fall of that year, Treadwell and his girlfriend, Amy Huguenard, were camping in the park. They had returned for another season of observation and filming, getting closer to wild grizzlies than most would dare. On Sunday, October 5th, 2003, around noon, Treadwell made a satellite phone call to a friend in Malibu, California. During that call, he mentioned that everything seemed normal. There were no issues with any of the bears. But by the next day, October 6th, everything had changed. Willie Fulton, a Kodiak air taxi pilot, arrived at the camp to pick up Treadwell and Huguenard. Instead of being greeted by the couple, he spotted a large bear near the camp. Sensing something was wrong, Fulton contacted local park rangers. What followed was a grim discovery. Investigators found the mangled remains of both Treadwell and Huguenard not far from their torn and collapsed tent. Treadwell's disfigured head, part of his spine, and his right forearm and hand, still wearing a wristwatch, were recovered nearby. Huguenard's partial remains were found next to the tent, partially buried in a pile of twigs and soil. The campsite itself was being guarded by a large adult male bear, tagged Bear 141. During efforts to recover the bodies, rangers were forced to euthanize the bear. Shortly afterward, a second younger bear charged at the rangers and was also put down. A necropsy of Bear 141 revealed human body parts, including fingers and limbs, confirming the bear's involvement in the fatal attack. One of the most haunting elements of this tragedy is that parts of the attack were captured on audio. Although the full recording was never publicly released, the sounds of Treadwell calling for help were reportedly heard. Sadly, no one was close enough to intervene. The incident sparked intense debates about wildlife boundaries and the dangers of human interaction with predators. Timothy Treadwell considered grizzlies as pets, but in the end, that belief cost both him and his partner their lives. Number 3, Travis the chimpanzee. Betrayal by family. Travis the chimpanzee wasn't just a pet, he was part of the household. To Sandra and Jerome Harold, Travis was family. After Jerome's death, Sandra became even more attached to him, often ignoring signs of his unpredictable behavior. That trust ended in tragedy on February 16, 2009, at around 3:40 in the afternoon. That day, Travis managed to leave the house carrying Sandra's car keys. In response, Sandra called her friend Charla Nash, age 55, to help get him back inside. Charla had known Travis and had worked with the Harolds at their towing business. However, when she arrived, something went wrong. Charla was holding an Elmo doll, one of Travis's favorite toys. That small detail may have triggered him. Combined with her new hairstyle and the unfamiliar car she arrived in, Travis became unsettled. Though he was on medication for Lyme disease and had been given tea to calm him, it had no effect. Travis suddenly attacked Charla with alarming ferocity. Sandra attempted to stop him, first using a shovel, then a butcher knife, but was unable to control the situation. In a panic, she locked herself in her vehicle and called 911. At first, the dispatcher thought it was a prank, until Sandra made it clear the situation was deadly. Emergency responders waited for police backup before entering. When they arrived, Travis charged the patrol car, smashing the passenger side mirror and even attempting to open the door. He then circled around to the driver's side and succeeded in opening that door, prompting Officer Frank Chiafari to fire 4 shots. Travis retreated into the house and was later found dead next to his cage. Charla Nash survived, but the injuries she sustained were life-altering. Her recovery involved extensive surgeries, including a face transplant. The attack became a major news story and raised serious concerns about private ownership of exotic animals in the U.S. In the years since, Charla has become an advocate for stricter exotic animal regulations, using her experience to highlight the dangers of keeping wild animals as pets, even those considered part of the family. Travis's case remains one of the most shocking examples of how quickly a domesticated wild animal can revert to instinct, resulting in devastating consequences. Number 2, monkey mayhem. When trust is broken. Monkeys might seem playful and harmless, but in rare moments, they can reveal a much more dangerous side. Nga Muhammad, a 72-year-old man from Malaysia, had a close working relationship with his pet monkey. The two worked together collecting coconuts. Nga handled things on the ground, while the monkey climbed trees to retrieve the fruit. One day, Nga promised his 29-year-old son, Zachariah, that he'd bring home some coconuts. It was supposed to be just another routine day. As usual, Nga sent the monkey up the tree behind their house. But unexpectedly, the monkey turned aggressive and attacked him. It bit into Nga's arm and ruptured an artery. The injuries were fatal, and Nga died before anyone could intervene. Zachariah began to worry when too much time had passed without any sign of his father. There were no sounds, no coconuts falling, no noise from the monkey. He went to check and was shocked to find his father lying motionless, his body cold, and his right hand bleeding. The monkey was still nearby and showed signs of aggression toward Zachariah as well. Zachariah revealed that the family had purchased the monkey when it was young, with the goal of using it to help harvest coconuts from their backyard trees. A neighbor rushed over after hearing screams. Realizing Nga had already passed away, he helped Zachariah carry the body back to their home. The neighbor then contacted the Department of Wildlife and National Parks. Wildlife officials arrived soon after and used tranquilizers to safely capture the monkey. It was later decided that the monkey would be rehabilitated and released into the wild, ending the relationship between the family and the animal. This incident was a rare but tragic example of how even familiar animals can act unpredictably, especially when instincts take over. What began as a normal day ended in the sudden and unexpected loss of a life. Number 1, the Harlem Tiger, a predator in the apartment. Imagine hearing deep growls and heavy thuds through the walls of a New York City apartment. Strange, right? But for 5 years, those eerie sounds were real. For the neighbors of Antoine Yates, a man who kept something unimaginable inside apartment 5E of the Drew Hamilton housing complex in Harlem. Not a big dog, not even a lion cub. A full-grown Siberian Bengal tiger named Ming. In April 2000, Yates, then a 31-year-old part-time cab driver, made an extraordinary decision. He purchased Ming as an 8-week-old hybrid cub from Bearcat Hollow Animal Park in Rhine, Minnesota. It wasn't his first exotic pet. Records later showed the same facility had sold him a lion cub, which he eventually rehomed. But with Ming, things were different. For half a decade, Yates lived in that apartment with multiple wild animals. Alongside Ming, he also kept an alligator named Al, legally obtained in New Jersey. Yates would only step outside once a day to buy food. Everything else happened behind closed doors, shared with apex predators. In 2003, the secret unraveled. Yates arrived at the hospital with severe wounds on his arm. He claimed a pit bull had bitten him, but doctors knew better. The injuries were far too extensive for a dog. Eventually, the truth came out. Ming had attacked him after Yates tried to break up a fight between the tiger and another animal, possibly the alligator. When authorities entered the apartment, they faced a tense and dangerous scene. Ming, now a powerful predator, was prowling freely inside the unit. It took tranquilizer darts to safely subdue the tiger and remove him from the home. Yates insisted Ming had only lashed out in fear. Despite this, he was charged with reckless endangerment and served a 3-month sentence on Rikers Island. After the incident, Ming was relocated to a wildlife sanctuary in Ohio, where he lived peacefully until his natural death years later. In a 2020 interview, Yates reflected on his life with big cats. His first exotic pet, a lion cub named Jabba, had died young. After that came Ming and another lion cub named Nemo, purchased at a discount due to illness and a poor prognosis. But Yates never saw himself as a pet owner. He once described himself as a drill sergeant, proud of keeping his animals' natural instincts intact. Ming was relocated to a wildlife sanctuary, removed from the city, but a chilling testament to the question, how much wildness can any of us ever truly contain? So are our pets truly our dearest friends? Or could any one of them surprise us? These stories don't just raise questions. They remind us that the line between tame and wild is often thinner than we think. Next time you look into your pet's eyes, you might wonder, what instincts lie beneath? If these unbelievable stories left you stunned and you're craving more jaw-dropping tales just like them, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss a new episode.